here's what Biggie was saying then. And Biggie was doing good things yesterday. He was at the Costco's, and they were taking up goods for the people affected by Hurricane Helene in the mountains of North Carolina. But someone we know, a coworker, her parents were in town. So they pull up, and let me see if I'm getting this right. The dad is driving. The mom is in the back seat, and they get out of the car, and Biggie says, everybody's kind of joking, oh, your chauffeur. It's like, so why was the woman in the back seat?
That's just where she's ridden and ridden for. That's where she rides and has ridden for years.
So she will not ride in the front passenger seat.
In fact, she sits behind the front passenger seat, so she has an angle to hand her husband stuff.
Oh, so she's not in the right-hand passenger seat. She's directly behind the driver.
She is in the right hand.
Yeah, she is in the right hand because she has the perfect angle to hand him things like food and whatnot.
So she hands him food from the back seat.
Like when they're on a road trip.
So if it's just the two of them, even driving 200 miles.
She rides in the back seat.
And he drives.
Yes.
And the passenger seat is empty.
Bingo.
Across town.
Yeah.
To church.
No matter where.
This is just how it's always been because I was like, what's going, and our coworker started explaining, she says, it's been this way for years. That's where she rides when they're together, no matter what.
Do you know, Biggie, did you do any follow-up? What if there's a third person in the vehicle?
They'll ride in the front.
The third person rides in the front.
Ride in the front seat, yeah.
So mom never rides in the front.
The mom will never ride up front.
The husband and wife are not ever on the same seat.
Do we know, Biggie, if mother ever drives and father is in passenger in the car?
I didn't get that deep into it.
I bet not.
No.
I bet she's always back.
I think she's always back there. That's just where she is.
Because the man drives?
Yeah.
The man drives the car.
Yeah.
It's a very Kelly-esque phenomenon.
Sure.
We've seen it.
But also, I said immediately, this is why they've been together forever. This is the key to a happy marriage right there. It's figured out right there. Because if you've ever been married, dated a woman, you know that they are without question the absolute worst passenger you could ever have in your front seat.
Well, that's kind of a blanket statement, don't you think, Biggie?
And I think right now every man is agreeing with me. Out loud, silently.
It does bother me when my wife will constantly, I shouldn't say constantly, my wife will say,
choose your words carefully.
I
think you may choose
poorly. I've chosen poorly before.
I think this one little change could save so many marriages.
You may be right.
I really believe that. When I saw that yesterday, I was like, that is unbelievable and awesome. And that is why they are so deeply in love still and still together.
I don't like it.
I don't know that you can connect those dots, but please continue.
My wife will say, as I'm driving, I usually drive. Sometimes she'll drive. If I'm driving, she'll say, you're too close to that car in front of you.
Yeah.
Or she'll say, and my wife, I love her. Just yesterday this happened, as a matter of fact. We were driving somewhere, and a 20-minute drive. My daughter needed something, and we're on the drive. That was another thing that...
Look at the body language.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're on the drive.
Your fists are balled up. Look at that.
I'm
like a boxer.
Well, I was the driver, and I thought the temperature in the car was good. It was a really nice day.
It was a temperate day.
Temperate 75 degrees, And, we're in the car 2 minutes. She's like, I'm roasting. She starts messing with it. And I just like, all right, okay. And she goes, I don't know what it is, but it's too hot in here. She starts rolling down the window.
Is this one of your ancient vehicles that only has one air conditioning
No, this
setting?
was her vehicle. This was and she started doing hers and then mine.
Turning her temp down.
And then mine as well. And she's like, I can't take this. I'm roasting. And she does that a lot.
Yeah.
And the summer, I understand. But now it was a very, very nice day yesterday. And then we get out on the highway, and she's like...
Car! I know. It's the highway.
It scares me when she screams.
That's the thing. It's the screaming.
I know.
Because you can be going along silently. You have James Taylor playing.
Yeah.
In my mind, I'm going.
Yes.
Are you going to break?
Yes.
Why? Why am I going to break? What happened?
Exactly. And we were listening on the radio was... I forget what song. A nice little pop song. I'll just say...
Espresso.
Okay, perfect.
Oh, that's my jam.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know you love that song.
So Espresso's playing.
Espresso plays. This is what happens now. And I don't even know that this was the song, but I really enjoy that song. And so... Okay. And it's on for like 30 seconds, and I'm really enjoying it. And she says, I don't know what this is, but I can't listen to this. And then she changes it. It's gone.
Just like that.
Just like that.
No more Sabrina Carpenter.
And it's on something else. And I'm just like, why? If I'm driving, why does she get control of the air and the radio?
Yeah.
And I've said that to her before, and she goes, this is just how it is. I mean, she'll just, that's just it. That's what it is. And so it bothers me a bit. Especially, I mean, I get it if you're hot, but you have your own controls.
Exactly.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
And especially in the back now, now they have whole separate controls just for the back.
And she doesn't have to announce it in such a screaming way that she does. She always announces
know
it.
why. Maybe it's just, I don't know, maybe it's something just born with.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like the minute women get in that car, it's like all sense and sensibility is gone. I mean, I'm just being honest here. Let's just call it what it is. Yeah.
She does. Whatever's bothering her, she screams it.
Yeah.
And then,
it doesn't make any sense. Yeah. Red light!
Yeah.
I see it. I see that the light is red. Like, I don't know why you need to yell.
I know. Mm-hmm. I know. We were delivering something to my daughter at her cross-country practice. I'll say
you had to deliver something to a practice.
Actually, I'll just say this. That's not entirely accurate. We had she had a mishap yesterday, which I actually put this down on the grid for later, so I won't get all the way. Suffice to say, we had to drive to her cross-country practice.
Okay.
Yesterday.
Is that her school facility?
Yes. It's about a 20, they go off campus to run. So it was about a 20 or 25-minute drive, and I'd only been there once, and I knew how to. Here's another thing my wife did. I'm not going to sit here and just say bad things about my wife.
No,
I won't do that.
But let's do it early while she's not listening.
I won't.
And frankly, Biggie's doing a bang-up job.
Look, I know this segment isn't going to make me any friends or get me laid, but I'm fine with it. Let's speak the truth.
We were most of the way there. I guess we're probably 65% of the way there. But then we got off the highway, and I didn't know exactly where to go. And I said, I don't know where I'm going from here. Stay straight, just stay straight. And it's like, I said, I don't know. I mean, there are turns. I don't know. And she goes, you're going to turn in like 4 miles. And I said, you don't have to,
Why are we yelling?
I said, you don't have to yell that at me. Just tell me where I need to turn. She'd been there many times, so she didn't put it into the into the thing, into the directions thing. Suffice to say, and I'll cover this later on the grid.
In more detail?
In more detail. I had just settled in. It was the top of the first of the baseball game that I wanted to watch, and we're just getting started. And my wife had just said, is this what we're watching?
No, I can't help you outside. I can't help you outside of the car.
I said, I'll go to another television, but I'm going to watch this baseball game today. And she goes, all right, we can watch it for a while. And that's when my daughter called with an issue. And it made me...
I forgot my shoes.
Oh, man.
Do I need shoes?
I'll tell you.
Wait, yeah, I think you need shoes.
Wait till you hear the issue. But I've got that later on.
The crisis is coming up later.
The crisis is coming up later. Biggie has a very good point there. But I am shocked that his wife, the other couple, rides in the back. Front back.
Do you think they have separate bedrooms, Biggie?
I don't know. I didn't get that deep into it. I think, again, I think this was brilliant because I think she doesn't want to see what's going on. So she's good. But it also, so he just gets to drive.
Yes.
She's back in Happy Land, not really, you know, seeing everything.
Yes.
And I like the idea that the angle, she can hand him things, like for road trips if they're traveling. Yep. Here's your fries. Yep. Here, let me get your drink together. Here you go. Yep. Everyone is happy.
And right up.
It is the happy. And if you know these two, like I do, they're the happiest people.
They're a happy couple.
Yeah.
That's I wonder about that separate bedrooms too. They say that's really much more common now.
Or not necessarily separate bedrooms, but certainly separate beds. Like 2 twin beds.
Yeah. Even that, I don't know about, there can't be many homes with twin beds in the same room, but I do think the husband sometimes sleeps in the guest room for
snoring reasons.
That, and I've heard
Jimmy Legs.
Jimmy Leg. One wants to stay up later and watch TV or whatever.
Temperature.
Temperature. The what do they call it? A sleep divorce. I heard that term last year for the first time. They called it a sleep divorce, and people were getting them and staying in separate bedrooms and reporting that they really liked it. You know, that they were sleeping better, getting more sound sleep. Britt's commenting on husbands and wives and how they drive. Britt, go ahead.
Yeah, people in here. Me and my wife had this exact conversation last night, and I finally just looked at her and I was like, I don't know how I drove before we got married. I must have just been slamming into the back of every car that was in front of me because I didn't have someone screaming at me to hit the brakes every 5 minutes.
She does that now. Yeah. My wife will tell me.
Good luck, Britt.
Thank you, Britt. Listen. We're not going to sit here and be sexist. That's the last thing we're going to. Thank you, Britt.
I don't think this is sexist. I'm just being honest.
Are you?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Well, I do. I'm surprised at how often that happens when I'm driving. When she tells me, "Watch this, look out there." Oh God, it's like the world is ending every second. And you're just like, God, what's going on? Even with the radio, with the song on yesterday, with the spread. I can't listen to this. What is this? And you're jumped.
Hold on, I'll put on Highway to Hell.
She could have just said, "Would you mind changing the station? I don't like this song." That's all she had to say. She didn't have to scream how she hates this. It's got to go. And
now it seems as if both of you were on edge. We'll get details later, but
we were on edge.
Again.
I'll see if I can do this correctly. At one point, it was really my daughter's fault. This thing was my daughter's fault. And I asked the question to my wife. I was going to, and I'll fill in the blank later. I was going to say, what is the point of, and then I was going to finish that sentence, but I said, what is the point of, and she said, having children? I don't know.
Oh, she auto-completed your sentence.
Yeah. That'll make more sense, I guess, when you hear how my daughter ruined me watching the baseball game.
Phillies-Mets.
I was settled in for the top of the first.
Yeah.
I'm
curious of why it took two of you to go across town.
Well, that's
also, all will be revealed?
All will be revealed as to why both of us had to make that trip across town yesterday. But suffice to say, it was my daughter's fault. To the point that and my wife had already, and see, that's another thing. Let me cut my wife a break on these things because she deals with so much that I don't behind the scenes, like with my son in college. Hey, listen.
Yeah, she's minoring in the same program he is,
she's
right?
back in school.
Yeah,
she's going to tack on another bachelor's.
And now, here's another thing you don't know about him. About, I'd say 3 or 4 months ago, he had a trip planned. He's got a good friend that goes to the University of Tennessee. And the friend said, I want everybody, because they went to high school together. And he's like, I want everybody to come up to Tennessee to see the Gators play the Volunteers in October. And everybody's like, yeah, we're doing it. He's got students in the game and everything, So that's this Saturday. That's the game, all right? Florida and Tennessee
Big
are playing.
SEC football Saturday?
Yes. And my son's like, I'm driving from East Carolina to Knoxville. And I didn't want him to do that even 6 weeks ago, but I said, all right, if you get a good, maybe you can stop halfway before you get to you stop overnight, make it a 2-day trip. Well, now the roads from East Carolina to Knoxville are gone. Those are gone.
They're closed, yeah.
So I told him, I was like, you cannot go on this trip. You're not going to go. This is a bad time because of this. But all of his friends are going, and they're going to Knoxville via Pennsylvania.
The southern route or the northern route?
The northern route.
I was going to say,
they're going north.
You got to pick one.
And he's got it down now where he can go. So we've been going round and round about, can you go? And my wife has worked with him to navigate how to get
at at any point. Now, Biggie know your son, and he sometimes isn't as aware of the real world machinations.
Yeah.
Did he at one point ask you if he could Netjet over? From Greenville to Knoxville.
I'm not surprised. Surprised he did.
Yeah. Can you drop a bag on a jet for me?
Yes, son. Let me drop a bag on a jet to get you to the game in Knoxville. Well, here's the coup de grace.
It's not a full-size jet. It's like a Learjet. I know, son.
I'm well aware.
Well, yesterday, as he was talking, we had finally ironed it out. Okay, you can go. You're going to Knoxville, this and that. And he's like, I got to be there for the tailgate. And I was like, okay, great. Go, enjoy. And I said, where are your seats? And he goes, oh, we couldn't get tickets. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, we're not actually going to the game. We're just going to Knoxville. You just want to choke them sometimes. You want to choke them. So then later, when my daughter did her thing, which is later on the grid.
You were already at simmer.
Oh, yeah. We were full simmer, both, especially her, especially my wife. And I said, what is the point of, and I was going to say something else. And she said, having children? I don't know. And at that point, I was like, all right, hands off. That's it.
We're good here.
Okay, that's it. She's really going there, and that's it.
Okay.